Day 15, Ottawa. I woke again to a beautiful, warm, and sunny morning in Ottawa. As a routine throughout my stay in Ottawa, I would head over to the Bob Macquarie Recreation Complex in my morning for my daily workout. Shortly after, I hit the closest Tim Hortons to feed my coffee addiction. Once my mind was settled, I searched on my phone as to what sites I would take in the day. There were so many different recommendations on various websites as to what I should see and do in Ottawa, but I wanted something a little bit more on the relaxing side and on the natural side of things. One of the lovely things I discovered, as mentioned in the previous video, was that Ottawa had no shortage of stunning, well-maintained parks throughout the entire city. Ottawa puts all other Canadian cities I've been to in shame in regards to access to parks. With so many parks to choose from, I decided I'd walk in an area by the Rideau Canal. I found a walking path adjacent to the Rideau Canal called the Hartwell Locks, which was a short 20-minute drive away. Again, having to dodge Ottawa's pothole-ridden roads was almost an adventure itself. I arrived at the Hartwell Locks and began my exploration. The Hartwell Locks are beside the Fletcher Wildlife Garden, and although I could have easily explored the garden itself, I decided to continue walking the footpath alongside the Rideau Canal. It was a beautiful walk, a number of people enjoying themselves, but nothing crowded like Stanley Park in Vancouver. A number of boats were moored to the side, and I passed by a couple of paddlers. I thought how great of a trip it would be to kayak the Rideau Canal in the future. Perhaps this would have been one of my bucket list adventures for a future video. I continued north, where I passed a number of people enjoying an outdoor art class. Some people jogging and others just relaxing and taking in all that Ottawa had to offer. As I continued onward, I saw a boat cruise filled with tourists moving up north, the same direction I was walking. I thought it would be cool to check that out as well, but I've never been one to be the first to sign up for such tourist attractions. Eventually, I reached Dow's Lake, a round body of water with a pavilion offering kayak rentals and other water sport activities. Since it was in the midst of COVID, there was very little activity overall. I continued walking around Dow's Lake until I reached the Bronson Avenue Bridge, where I decided that I should turn around. Like many other walking trips throughout my coast-to-coast adventure, I was ill-prepared by not bringing water. I walked back towards the Hartwell Locks where my beast was parked, gobbled down some much-needed water, and set course for my next excursion. Since my arrival in Ottawa, I had not had a chance to complete my laundry, check my emails, and run errands, so I decided that I should no longer procrastinate and finish off my necessary tasks. I found a local laundromat not too far away and spent some time catching up to everyone and everything while I had my clothes in the wash. Again, one of the wonderful things I discovered about Ottawa was that it wasn't very large by area. Unlike Toronto, where I experienced horrible traffic even in the evening, Ottawa was a much smaller city and getting around was quick and easy. Shortly after I finished my laundry and emails, I decided to have a late lunch. Not wanting to be disappointed with bad sushi again, I decided I would try Chinese instead. I had no desire to sit down at a restaurant, but I wanted a quick takeaway, so I picked up something at a local T&T supermarket where I decided to eat at a park. I found Mooney's Bay Park less than 10 minutes from where I was, so I headed over. The park itself was quite busy and finding parking was difficult, but eventually I found a spot and headed down towards the beach. It was a lovely scene with everyone enjoying the water and having fun. Victoria has been a ghost town since COVID struck and restrictions were in place, and seeing people enjoy themselves in public was a great setting. I walked north and seen an outdoor play at a pirate ship and watched an outdoor boot camp push motivated people to run up and down a hill. I sat on a bench overlooking the beach and enjoyed the beautiful Ottawa weather while eating some average quality Chinese food. Certainly, the food here in Ottawa could be much better than this, but I didn't drive all the way from Victoria just to experience food. After filling myself with enough monosodium glutamate to kill a horse, I decided I would head into downtown Ottawa again to enjoy a walk in the evening. I parked again by CF Rideau Centre and walked in some of the areas that I'd quickly grown to be familiar with from yesterday. I walked through Majors Hill Park, which was still rather busy with lots of people relaxing as the sun began to set. I then walked over to the Parliament building, through the Parliament grounds. Unlike yesterday, where it was packed with people, there were much less people now, and the environment was much more tranquil. The architecture of the building, its symmetry and layout still looking quite majestic. Now more so with the lights lit up and the backdrop of the slowly darkening Ottawa sky. It's still quite sad to see the children's toys and shoes around the Centennial Flame, so I didn't spend too much time in that area. I didn't have anything else to give but a tear from my heart. Buildings were still under major renovation, and perhaps one day I will return and actually visit the interior to see what beauty lies beneath the stunning exterior. As with the majority of my trip, pictures do not do justice for the beauty that I witnessed in person. Although I wasn't on the Parliament grounds very long, I again witnessed something that I witnessed yesterday. As the sun set, a different crowd of people gather in the downtown core of Ottawa. Gone are the tourists, now come the locals, and the night scene begins. I decided to walk over to the tomb of the unknown soldier, now lit up with spotlights to forever honor his sacrifice. The spotlights eerily shone the detailed faces of the statues in such a lifelike manner. I could only imagine what the soldiers felt when rushing into the heat of battle. They were ordinary men who sacrificed their lives to become heroes to our nation. They said goodbye to their family, to country, and set foot on grounds unknown to them. They died on that ground in order to keep the name of Canada on Canadian soil. No one dared invade us. No one dared bring war to us, for our heroes protect us. I walked east and thought it would be cool to venture into Byward Market. By now it was looking really hip, a completely new scene emerging, and evening vendors were preparing for a new evening crowd to come in. While there were still many tourists, it was obvious the evening crowd was different. The tourists were dressed for leisure, while the locals were dressed formally. Gone were the tour buses, replaced by the elites who drove expensive vehicles. Music from various restaurants varied, but on a loudspeaker, it was open for everyone to experience. Like all of Ottawa, it was also teeming with a strong police presence everywhere to ensure the safety of the public. I found the Ottawa sign again, beautifully lit up, but unfortunately it was difficult to have an opportunity to take a picture with the sign. Just west of the Ottawa sign, I headed up a set of stairs that were beautifully painted that led up to Majors Hill Park once more. I walked through the park one more time and stopped by the Fairmont Chateau Laurier to look at the Rideau Canal locks. I rested while enjoying the scenery, watching everything unfold in front of me. Ottawa has to be the prettiest city I've been to in a long time, much more livable than Toronto, much classier than Calgary, and far more beautiful than Vancouver. After enjoying the view, I headed back to my beast to call it a night. I drove back to the Ottawa train yards and began to settle in for the evening. It was still early, and I didn't have any set plans for tomorrow other than a few places I thought I should see. While it wasn't that late into the evening, just yet. I had seen so much that my senses were filled to capacity. For now, I will rest, and tomorrow will be another adventure. Subscribe to the Travel Experience, Expérience de Voyage channel. Tap the bell and join the conversation on the comment section below.